provides us with a compelling story from experiencing love, to heartbreak, to finding his true self through the constant struggle. Camden starts off with this story with this loving character finding his true match. He explains his deep connection to his lover and has no fear of leaving her behind. The story continues with this character loving the way his other half understands him, and can fill his void. He understands that love is what he is missing. But this character doesn't know if he can fully commit to this love because he's only experienced fake love and heartbreak. He doesn't know if this will happen again. He is open to the thought of love, but is love open to the thought of him? This love was temporary, and the character knew this. In just a matter of time, this character gets heartbroken and doesn't know how to cope. He thought they were meant to be and he needs to find a way to escape this trauma. This character doesn't know how to react when he thinks of those precious moments. It's not much later that he finds out this woman cheated on him and used him for her own benefit. It's been days and this character can't find a way out. All this character wants is one last chance to hold on to something that was never there. The character is constantly trying to fix the past but has no success doing so. He looks too far in the past and sees himself as a child. He sees the amount of fun he was having at a young age and misses it deeply. He looked too far in the past and wants to relive those times again. This character comes to a realization. He needs to find himself. He needs himself. He needs his happy life. He cannot let the misery take over anymore. He needs healing. But he needs to do all the work to get there. Chapter 2 begins with the character remembering his previous relationship and seeing how the seasons were changing just as fast as their love was changing. He wanted to keep her feet on the ground but the seasons changing again, just like their love. He is wondering what he could do. He said in quotes, "Don't look down." The character is still broken but mentions that he is always here for her. Even though she tore him apart, he would still choose her after everything he went through. It's at this time, the character is ready to move on. But he still has that doubt. He wishes he didn't waste time. He wishes she could have been there for him. He wishes his past was different but his biggest wish is to continue his path. The character remembers seeing a message from someone trying to take his love away from him. His heart dropped when he first saw that message between them, because he knew their time was up soon. The character has had enough and knows the school dance is coming up. He buys his suit and tie and he's ready to feel happiness once again. The character has a mission to come to terms with her and make up everything. He's looking around her while the music is playing and he sees her. He sees her with that same man she got the message from. He is distraught. He's back in his old ways. Broken and hurt. He wants to know if love is even real. He has to relive this feeling of alone. What did he ever do to deserve this? He can't heal the way he has to. He seems invisible to love. He feels invisible to this woman. It's as if this woman can't see through him, as if she can't understand how he feels. Chapter 3 continues with the character trying to find love. But this time was different. This woman wanted to give her all to him, but he just couldn't give in. For some reason he just couldn't fall in love. After all his trauma and past experiences he had to decline the offer. He thought that she couldn't offer real love to this beast who's been destroyed. He living in his past regrets and couldn't see why this woman wanted him. If he doesn't give her his love in return, he may stay his hideous beast. The character wants this new woman to be his last but something doesn't feel right with him. He doesn't want lust. He just wants to be loved. He doesn't want to end up as strangers with his love in the future. He just wants someone who could understand and cope with him. The character knows he has strong roots and with that, he can connect with life. The character wants to shed light on his experiences but he knows someone will use that against him. They will make him relive something that broke him. He would rather break down in tears rather than confront a lover's suspicion. His lover knows his weakness and this made him question his ability to love again. The character speaks to God. He asks him what his purpose is and if he should stay down or pick his head up. He needs God's support to make it through this difficult journey he's going through. All he heard was silence. The bird stopped chirping. Everything went to static. He has himself. He has himself to love and care. He has himself to change and mature. In Chapter 4, the character is fully accepting what has happened. He is finally releasing those heavy burdens on his shoulders. He is looking back on everything and facing it instead of fearing it. He knows mistakes were made, but there's nothing he can do about it. He's looking in the past but not trying to change the past. He knows everything happened for a reason and there's ways to move past. He feels victimized and ashamed. He covered his bloody wounds with bandages to help heal the pain. The bandages are covering his disguise. Nobody will truly know who he is under those bandages. He doesn't feel like a human. He feels like a monster that has tried to escape a precious soul. As he stands in the middle of the street waiting for a car to pass by. In Chapter 5, the character wakes up, but he is not alive. He is dead. He is stuck. He's in purgatory. He must find his way to the light. He said in quotes, "All the mean words I said, I hope you forgive me." The character is asking for forgiveness and promises change. The character has finally talked to God and he can see a tiny light in the distance. He has to make it there before his time runs out. He wants nobody to stand in his path. He is on the road to greater, to better. The character wants to have a word with God and explain that he is the change. The character has now forgiven his past lovers. He forgives them from hurting him. He may have been cheated on, cussed out, verbally abused, but in the end, it's what he has built for himself that matters. In the distance he sees his past lover deceased and empty looking. She previously tore his life apart, but he can't leave her behind. He doesn't want her to go down a path of lust and evil. He wants to take her to the light. He wants her on the right side of life. If the character doesn't change her, then who is he? She tore him apart in the past, but he wanted to take her, not for himself but to a brighter future without the lies and mistakes he couldn't forgive. The character must forgive so he can move on. He remembers all the lies and manipulation. All the times she played the victim. Love was capable, but she chose the easier option. He first saw her as an angel, but he found God before she found herself. Now that she's gone, she can't reach the sound of his tune. He carried her so far towards the light, but during that time he found himself. He can't take her any further than where he is. He is free. He was once a man who was locked away. He was once a man who would reject and refuse love. Once a man who saw the light and fell apart. He was once that man. He has matured, forgiven, found God, and he lead the way from there. Through the pain he can see himself as a child. Looking in the past one last time, knowing he can only move forward. He's a new man. And he is taken away to a better place God made for him.